Week 3, Day 2. Wilmington's Guide to the Bible, page 167. 11. He filled a pot of boiling water with the choicest meats and cooked it until the flesh fell off the bones. He then threw it all out and allowed the pot to bake itself dry to eliminate the scum and rust. Ezekiel 24:1 through 14. Here, of course, the symbolism is clear. The judgment fire of God would utterly consume even the rich and noble of Jerusalem. All its citizens would be cast out of the land so his holy city might be cleansed of their moral scum and rust. 12. He was forbidden to express any outward sorrow over the sudden death of his beloved wife. Ezekiel 24:15 through 18. Charles Feinberg explains ancient mourning rituals and Ezekiel's obedience to God. The covered head, 2 Samuel 15:30, the bare feet, Isaiah 22, and the covered lip, Leviticus 13:45 and Micah 3:7, were prohibited by Ezekiel. Priests could mourn for their near kin, Leviticus 21:1 through 3, but Ezekiel was an exception for a special purpose. It was customary in ancient times to have a funeral feast. The friends of the bereaved sent the food as a token of sympathy. Deuteronomy 26:14, Jeremiah 16:7, and Hosea 9:4. Faced with this directive, Ezekiel exhibits complete subordination of his own will and feelings to his prophetic office in the will of God. Page 168. In spite of the fact that he knew his wife's hours were numbered, he went about the ministry committed to him. What an example of obedience! The prophecy of Ezekiel, pages 139 through 140. One of the most emotion-filled verses in all the Bible is his testimony at this time, Ezekiel 24:18. God ordered him not to mourn over his wife's death to emphasize that the Lord would not mourn over Jerusalem's death. It is especially significant to observe that Ezekiel's wife died the very day that Nebuchadnezzar began his third and final assault upon Jerusalem. Ezekiel 24:2. Page 169. 6. Two prostitute sisters. Ezekiel 23:1 through 49. A. Two sisters began their sad history of prostitution by engaging in immorality with the Egyptians. Ezekiel 23:1 through 3. B. The names of these girls are Aholah and Aholibah, and are identified as Samaria and Jerusalem. Ezekiel 23:4. 1. The word Aholah means her tent, and may be a reference to the fact that God never approved of the false religion of Samaria, capital of the northern kingdom, as instituted by its first king, Jeroboam. See 1 Kings 12:25 through 33. Thus, her tent meant she had her own religion, which did not include God. 2. The word Aholibah means my tent is in her, indicating perhaps that God's presence still dwelt in the Jerusalem temple in spite of Judah's sin. C. It is said here both these girls became prostitutes because of their Egyptian immorality. This may refer to both cities being impressed with the religious and political structures of Egypt. D. Aholah then began illicit relations with Assyria, Ezekiel 23:5. This happened under northern king Menahem, who allied himself with Assyria. See 2 Kings 15:13 through 20. E. Aholibah did the same thing with Babylon, Ezekiel 23:14. King Hezekiah treated the Babylonian representatives almost as if they were gods. See 2 Kings 20, 12 through 19, and 2 Chronicles 32:31. F. God therefore determined to turn both these sisters over to the full brutality of their respective lovers. Ezekiel 23:9, 22, and verse 24.